Welcome back. So, we're now going to make our Italian dinner. What we're making tonight is our Tuscan bean soup. This has, as you can see, a ton of ingredients. This is actually probably one of the more complex recipes. However, each of the things here is within the budget. For a college student, they are not very expensive. I've made a couple of substitutions for things that I wasn't able to buy just based off of monetary restrictions. A couple, simple things: salt, pepper, some olive oil, Parmesan cheese. We'll be using ham instead of the standard pancetta. We'll be using also some crushed red pepper instead of chili flakes. Chili flakes aren't too expensive. I just didn't happen to have the money to buy them with what I was buying. We'll use some chicken broth that we had used in another recipe. And then we have two types of beans here: red kidney beans, and then I honestly can't say this, cannellini. Yeah, sure, you could just read it. Yeah, I don't know what they're called. We have beans. You can get raw beans or you can get canned beans. Really, it makes no difference, just in timing actually. And then we have 3 cloves of garlic, some basil, some thyme, some rosemary, and 2 basil leaves. Exactly, we'll be using 2 sprigs of rosemary, about 3 sprigs worth of thyme, and one basil, or I'm sorry, this is not basil, this is oregano. 1 oregano sprig. Then instead of some standard tomatoes that I would have diced up, I'm just going to be using this, the paste that we had actually used earlier in the day for our lunch. This has basil, garlic, and oregano already in it, so it adds a tiny bit of flavor. It's already all crushed up, and this is probably a good amount for what we need. We're actually going to also be having some celery. The celery, we need about a cup of it, all chopped up, so I think this is enough here. We'll need about another cup of yellow onions. Make sure it's a yellow onion instead of a standard onion. We'll need to chop that up. And then, of course, you need some kale. Kale, I took about 2 heads worth. I'm going to then cut it up into bite-sized pieces in a little bit. And then, back again is our French baguette. We've used a good amount of it, and we'll be using that at the end. So to start off, I'm actually just going to cut up all the ingredients, and then we'll get them all in the pot over there. And have a nice little setup over there so that you can see everything that's going into the big pot. So I'm just going to cut up the onion, the kale, and then we'll see where we are with that. Great. So I'm going to turn the camera off real fast because I actually need to set up the little setup over there, and then I will see you while we saute things. Hey, so we're back, and this is the setup that I have. Hopefully it looks pretty good. You can see inside the pot here, we have a very large pot. And this is where we're going to be doing everything. The sauteing, the ham cooking, everything. So what we first have to do is we take our olive oil, and we take about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're going to just put that in here. So, and it's fine to go a little bit over, a little bit under, of course, because it'll just get soaked up by the rest of the ingredients. So there's 3. I just want to get it all out. There we go, because I don't really want to be cleaning up more oil. Okay, so that's there. Great. I'm going to turn this on just to warm it up a bit, and I will be actually using these gloves because this pot is going to get very hot. Plus that fire is really hot as well. Okay, so you just warm it up a bit, and then I'm going to take all of the ham that I have. Usually you'll need probably about a ½ pound. This is a little less than that, just because I've been using it. And I'm going to finish up this ham here and just sort of break it up into smaller pieces and stick it in there. I'm actually going to turn it down real fast just so I can do this without it burning too much. So this is going to be going on top of the olive oil. And then what we're going to be doing with it is actually sort of getting it nice and crispy. I know it seems a little odd, but we want the meat to sort of get a little bit, I guess hard is the right word, just because we want it not to be too soggy when we put all of the all of the other ingredients, like the chicken broth and whatnot in there. So just breaking this up, just stick it in there, and then let me wash my hands real fast. Great. So then I'll turn this up and sort of just mix it around, because I don't want it to get too burnt. You can hear it sizzling in there. That is really hot. So I just cook it for, you know, a couple minutes. That way it gets a little crispy. Now the interesting thing is if you would use the normal ingredient, pancetta, I think I'm saying that correctly. It's another type of meat, sort of salami-ish. It actually would sort of give off a fat that you would then keep in the soup, and it would add some extra flavor, a little bit of extra sort of density to the soup. So this is pretty good. I'm going to let it sit for a second. It does splatter a bit, so just be careful. Hopefully you can see inside that pot. It's I don't want to get the camera too close to it just because it'll be very, very hot, since I will be cooking here for the next 20 to 30 minutes actually. Okay, so that's good. I can then turn that down a little. And then I'm actually going to be adding all of the onion, celery, and garlic. And we're then going to be sauteing that. And the thing is, we want that meat in there now because that way all of the flavors sort of get combined. Oh, I'm definitely oh, I didn't drop any. Score. Okay. So I'm going to use this instead. And just sort of mix it all up. Make sure that the meat doesn't stick to the bottom. Otherwise, it'll be very, very fried. There you go, now it's a lot quieter. Oh, that's because I don't have it on very high. I was wondering why. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to saute the vegetables and everything for about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so that's been on for long enough. Everything's sort of sauteed nicely. Remember, you don't want to caramelize the onions like we've done in other videos. We just want to saute everything. So it looks pretty good. Everything's pretty well mixed. So now we're actually going to be adding the rest of our ingredients. So first I'm going to add the tomatoes. Usually you would use diced tomatoes. I ran out of tomato yesterday because I was using it for other things. That is a hot pan. Or pot. So that's fine though. It's really not that big of a deal. I'll just use this instead. Let me mix it up real fast. And then I'm going to get some more water to put in that little container just so that I get the rest of it. There we go. And it's fine to add the water because it will just sort of add a little bit more broth to everything. Great. So let me mix that up real fast. There you go. Okay, so that's in there. Well, that's unfortunate. Hi there. So I tried to have this stick. There we go. Hi. Yes. That's unfortunate. Now you're not going to be able to see in the pot, but that's okay. Such is life. You can see me pour everything in though. That's I think everything just got too hot. I was using a suction cup. Oh well. So it'll add a little variety to the video. Okay, where was I? I added the tomato. Okay, so now I'm going to add the beef or the chicken broth. That's right here. And just add it all in there. Oh, I accidentally put the lid in the bottom. That wasn't a very smart thing to do, but it's okay. Life will go on. Just sort of mix this all up. Okay. And then I'm going to add the beans. Let me just grab those real fast. There we go. Another actually bean that you can add, I don't know if you'd call it a bean actually. I'd call it a bean. Chickpeas. You can add some chickpeas to this as well. Those will taste good. The flavor will get all mixed in. So this is pretty good. I'm going to add a tiny bit more chicken broth because that chicken broth was not completely full. I'm just really just use probably about a can. That again will be your broth. Some of it will boil off, so we'll be adding some water. But let me get a little bit more and then add that. So we're just going to use water and then some chicken bouillon if we need it. It's actually looking good. So I think everything will then sort of boil down a little bit. So everything's mixed in. So now we're going to add our herbs. So those are right here. If you have some kitchen twine, it'd be nice to tie them all together because that way you can get them out easily. If not, I don't know. Give me a second. Okay. Well, I do not have any kitchen twine, but that's okay. We're just going to add it. And afterwards, we're going to try to pick it out. And if we don't, life's not that bad. We'll survive. So, 2 bay leaves. Those are going to go in. There we go. Mix them in. 1 oregano sprig. Mix that in. 2 sprigs of rosemary. Mix those in. I mean, remember, if some of the sprigs sort of come off into it, it's completely fine. You eat rosemary, oregano, all those type of things all the time. And the thyme, unfortunately I don't have sprigs, I just have sort of a powder type thing. I'm just going to sprinkle most of that in, not all of it, because you will be probably eating a little bit, and so you don't need all of the taste. So there we go. Those herbs smell good. Just then mix it all together. Try to put the bay leaves on the bottom. They keep on, they sort of just move up to the top naturally. I don't know why. So there is, that's how the soup looks for right now. Everything's sort of seasoned and everything. We'll add a tiny bit of salt and pepper and the red pepper flakes, and then we're actually going to let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes. So let me grab the pepper. And this can go, you can just stay right there. That's not going to stay. There we go. Add a little bit of salt. Oh, I'm sorry, that's pepper, not salt. Add a little bit of that. Again, you can add it later on. This is just to sort of help to really get into the vegetables and everything that's in there. And the very last thing is red pepper. Just add a tiny bit of that. You don't want it to be too spicy because that's not the main flavor in this. So then I'm going to let it sit. Let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. You don't need to cover it or anything, and then we'll be adding the rest of our ingredients. So I will see you in 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, welcome back. So I now have a couple friends here with me. This is Jack Brinker. And the last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to add the kale. So this is a lot of kale. It's going to boil down now. So we've been having this cook for probably about 20 minutes. I turned it down to sort of a low simmer, just so that it didn't get too done. And he's the big spoon. Yep, there's my dog. So now you can just sort of mix the kale in. I know it's a lot of it, but you just sort of put it all together. Mix it all in. Let me let you guys look. You guys are crazy. So here's this. Here's the soup. My dog's down there. She wants some food. And then we're just gonna actually let this simmer until the beans are pretty tender. So right now they're pretty good, but we want them to be a little bit softer. So So I'm gonna let this simmer probably for another 5-10 minutes, and then I will I'll get back to you. So see you in a bit. Hey there. So the last thing we're actually going to be doing is just making a little bit of bread that we can then dip in. I'm going to put a tiny bit of olive oil actually on top of it, just because that way it'll have a little more flavor to it than just plain bread. So you just add a tiny bit. It's great. This olive oil really is good for just about everything that we're cooking. So then I'm going to stick it in the toaster oven. Let me grab this real fast. And just stick it in here. Just let this toast for a couple minutes. The soup is just sitting there waiting for somebody to eat it. And that's about it. So I'll show you the final product, but that's how you make the Tuscan bean soup. Hey there, so here's the final product. I just added a tiny bit of Parmesan cheese to the soup. It'll go well with all the other flavors that are in there. And then I just took the bread out of the toaster oven. And it looks really good, it smells great. I tried a little. One thing is, if the soup sort of seems to be too dense and there isn't enough broth in there, definitely add a little bit of liquid. A lot of it has evaporated off because we let it simmer for 20 minutes or so. So add a cup of water and it'll be perfectly fine. It won't dilute the taste at all, because there are a lot of very strong flavors in there with all the vegetables and other stuff that we put in. So add a little bit of water, you'll have some nice broth around the sides. This bread you can actually dip in, and with the olive oil on it, it'll add some great taste. So that's how you make the Tuscan bean soup for Italian Day. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. If you'd like to see the recipe, I have the entire recipe down in the bottom in the description, along with the ingredients and everything that you have to do to prepare it. Also, follow my Instagram at college_eats101. I have pictures of all the food and what each of the meals actually is. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.